Hello, my name is Johnna Pleasant, and today I'm going to do a video presentation about assessments. In this video, you will hear about my personal philosophy of assessments, what assessments are and why they are important, as well as how assessments support learning. I will also touch on high leverage practices or best practices when using assessments, and even share some of my personal assessment trackers that I use weekly. Later in the presentation, you will hear me interview a colleague of mine and kind of pick her brain about her thoughts on assessment in the classrooms as well, just to get a different perspective. I'm going to start with my personal philosophy of assessment. I feel strongly that students' needs should drive curriculum and not the other way around. And that's exactly how I feel about assessments as well. I feel like assessments should be used as a tool to understand where students are, whether that's socially or behaviorally or academically. When looking at assessment data, that is what should drive curriculum and instruction. This way, the needs of the students always come first, and it's kind of more like individualized. According to the Glossary of Education Reform, assessment refers to the wide variety of methods or tools that educators can use to evaluate, measure, and document the academic readiness, learning progress, skill, or educational needs of students. Assessments are important because they're used to provide feedback, find learning gaps, and guide instructions to meet the needs of students. The role of feedback builds a growth mindset in students. Assessments support learning and development because they allow teachers to monitor progress in real time. Teachers can provide feedback to parents on what to continue to work on at home, as well as what's being worked on at school. Educators can make adjustments to their teaching to strengthen individual student goals. Assessments support learning and development because you have documents showing progress or sometimes not efficient progress in a certain skill. If a child is making progress, you can continue to build on that skill and move forward, whereas assessments are equally as important in finding those gaps or delays in children as well. Some best practices in assessments for young children that I found to be extremely useful would be things like collecting work samples, observations, checklists, or even portfolios. Some high leverage practices that are effective can be exit tickets, which could be used as a tool to check for understanding. You could use multiple data sources like observations, checklists, and formatives, and also adapting instruction based on student assessment data to meet the needs of students. Families can also be involved in the assessment process by having open, consistent communication, also by having collaborative conferences or meetings, as well as having a trusting relationship with families. Here are some data trackers that I currently use in my classroom. This one that I have here, if you can see, this is just a plain tracker. So what I do is I put the student's name at the top, and each student will have their own form. And I'll just put the date of assessments just for privacy purposes. I just kept this one blank. But I will put the date, I'll put what they're working on. It says assessment at the top, but I use this for anything. Sometimes it could be a curriculum game that we're playing that has a certain skill. Like if they're doing greater than and less than symbols, I will check to make sure that they can identify greater than or less than numbers, if they needed to use tools to build the numbers, as well as if they're using the appropriate symbols. I can kind of make a note there. If it's a formative assessment, I can actually put the score, or a summative assessment, I can put that in here. I even use this for socially as well. When students have goals like turn taking or social interactions, I can go ahead and write the notes where they're having conversations with each other, as well as play or anything that I need to document. So it doesn't just have to be assessments. This is just kind of an observation tool that I use when collecting data, and this will stay in their portfolios. And this is another tracker that I use. I folded the top so you can't see the student's name, but this is an IEP goal tracker that I use. So at the top, this is for marking period 4. It's our second benchmark. And then each one has their goal. So we have addition and subtraction within 10, a task initiation, and communication. For the task initiation goal, I have the date where I assess him. I have the score for their progress monitoring, and then how many prompts that were initiated and how many prompts it took for him to complete the task. So this is a really useful tool. I do this every marking period as just a way to track their IEP goals. And it's just another data collection tool that I use that is really helpful. It kind of keeps everything together in their portfolio. And yeah, those are just some examples of some things that I currently use in my classroom. I'm going to go ahead and interview my colleague and get her, pick her brain a little bit about her thoughts on assessments and share her personal philosophy as well. Thanks. Hi, so I'm here with my colleague. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself.
All right. My name is Mrs. Muchler. I am a first grade teacher at Eisenberg. This is my 17th year teaching K through 2.
Perfect. Okay, so Ms. Muchler, what are assessments and why are they important?
Assessments is data and analyzing a collection of students' either benchmark, their knowledge, and progress.
Perfect. And how do assessments support learning and development?
Well, they are important because they guide your instruction. So it's important that there is actionable feedback because then you can adjust your instruction, fill the gaps from the prior lessons. Um, it gives students a tool to also self reflect. You need to designate, they should know their goal that they're working for, and it helps them just strengthen and develop their academic habits.
Perfect. And the last one is what are some best practices that you use when assessing your students?
All right. I, being in first grade primarily, I rely a lot on checklists, notes as I'm teaching. Um, there's only a few summative assessments, so I rely mainly on formative checks, whether it be their workbook pages, little tasks that we do throughout the day. Um, it, I adjust the lessons after each formative. Um, I give instant student feedback, even sometimes during the assessment, so that they know where to go and reflect and what to change. Assessments are done regularly, and I also give that feedback to parents. Conferences, weekly reports. I hand papers back regularly. Little study guides so that parents know what they still need to work on.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time, Ms.
No
Muchler.
problem.